seems that we are back. So let's let some people filter in and get settled, and then we'll get into this. I'm excited to be back on this live, giving this game to the people. But we'll see how far it goes.
It's
We
been a
have some.
long time.
It
Seasons
has been
change,
too long, too long.
all types of
But
things happen.
it has, it has. I don't know if you had a chance to read the comments of the back and forth between our previous guest, Jess the Best, and one of our fans. But she wanted to unravel some of the uh, thought processes on her being an adulteress, and it was good. It was clean. It was it was a PG-13, but it was a good conversation. You gonna have to go check it out. Go check it out.
Oh,
So
so there's some back and forth between uh, one of the female fans and Jess
and a
or you.
guest, yes, Jess, no, just Jess, yes, and Jess was responding on her own. She was like,
Oh,
yes, yes, you gotta go check it out.
no,
You
no,
gotta go
no.
check it out.
I wasn't
Yeah.
aware.
Hey, she true to it the whole way. Like she's all in, 10 toes, they say. But yeah, she said what she said, and then she got on there and defended or explained what she was saying. And that's what we want. We want that type of dialogue. So,
We do.
but let's jump into this one today. So let me start this off like we always do about this time. Welcome to Coach's Decision with Chris P. Reed, where we dive into topics each week or whenever we get to it that help you or someone close to you get through. So my clients are skilled at the game of life, but sometimes they need to know when to be protected from themselves. Sometimes they need a coach's decision. And so this platform is basically free life coaching that allows for you, the audience, to interact with things that you might have on your mind that you might want to be coached through. Today, what we're here for is because we have some responses to some comments, and the audience has asked. We up to 4,000 subscribers now. So it just it grew out of control beyond our. We just got on here to basically do some sessions to help my man get through his uh his work turmoils, and he survived, and he got a good little situation going now. But in the midst of that, people were realizing that these type of conversations were therapeutic or at least entertaining for them as well. And so people did reach out and engage via the chat or the comments, excuse me. And we want you to engage on the chat today, live action real time, and we'll respond and assist you in any way we can on YouTube. Um, One of the things that came out of that session was a lot of inquiries about love and dating and life and things of that nature. And so we did two series at the behest of my producer. One of them was men dating over 40 and how difficult it is or is not to do so. And then we were asked by the audience, the fans, to do a companion episode, which was women dating over 40. And that one took off and created its own legs. And some of the highlights from that episode, you can go check them out on our channel, Creed Leadership, hashtag Creed Leadership is the best way to get to it on YouTube. But when you go check those out, those led to one of the guests of the women dating over 40 talking about married men approaching her. And then she went through a small series of 4 episodes where she talked about dating married men and the perils, the struggles of not only being cheated on or having her husband cheat on her, but then also growing and falling for married men. And we kind of coach through those dynamics as well. So it's been a good journey. This started in, I think, April, maybe March or April of this year. And it's been a pretty good journey. A lot of subscribers is continuing to grow beyond what we really planned for. But we'll come and continue to give responses if you want to give comments. And today we're going to do just that. We're going to go through the comments. And then if we had time at the end, it was something that I wanted to talk about, which is maturity and mental health specifically in the Black community is because I know best. But I think it resonates with all communities as a whole. But I'll let my producer do his production thing and tee up some of the things you guys were talking about. And we'll go from there.
Okay, so let's start with this first one. So we were talking about relationship versus companionship, dating over 40. So it was the one that that the guys did.
Mhm.
And someone wanted to know, how can a woman receive any type of support or gifts from a man without being perceived as a dependent or as a gold digger?
And I think I put a response there. Do you have the access to the response? But
I
if
do.
not, I can. Okay. Can you
Yeah.
read that response? Because I think I put it as eloquently as it can be stated.
Okay, your response was, I believe that all relationships, romantic or otherwise, should be reciprocal. How can a woman receive gifts should always be the way in which she gives them.
Mhm.
No person wants to live in an unbalanced love. And it cut it off there. But
That's cool. But so one of the themes that you've embraced is creating balance. And
right.
so you being a single guy or a dating guy, the one thing you want is a level of equality. Now, equality, and what I continue to say in that statement, and you can go out and look, anybody can go out and look at the comments if they go to, the site or the YouTube channel. But one of the things is it's not always a one-to-one financial. And you talk about this all the time. You want to be matched and equaled in your effort. So if you're the person that's constantly receiving effort, but not reciprocating effort, my effort to make you happy or make you smile is a gift. Now, we could talk about monetary gifts and tangible gifts, but anything that I'm giving to you is a gift from me, meaning you need to be giving to me at the same clip so we can create this flywheel effect of giving to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, so when I say equal, it doesn't have to be one for one, but it has to average equal. So I don't want
mhm,
people to think like as soon as I buy you a 20-ounce soda, you have to buy me a 20-ounce soda. Like it doesn't have to be
right.
exactly that. And Jazzy says, congratulations on the followers and the views, and
That's what's up.
effort is key.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
so I would say, well, I would ask to not know about effort. Is that immature, or is that just what most people don't know about yet until they get a certain age?
No, I don't think it's age specific. I think that you train people how to treat you. You give them grace and assume that they have never dealt with somebody as great as you are. You assume they've never dealt with somebody as generous as you are, as handsome as you are. Whatever you think your thing is, they've never had nothing like this before. So therefore, you train them how to deal with something like this. And you do that with grace and patience. Now, you know, because of your age, your wisdom, your experience, whether they getting it or not. Don't keep casting pearls to the swine, as my granny would say, right? My granny here would say, don't cast pearls to the swine. Don't keep giving when somebody's shown you they're incapable. One of the questions that we had, appreciate that. One of the questions that we had, you and I a long time ago, you were dating someone and you said you was cool and you was feeling her. And I asked you a couple questions. And then I said, is she capable of learning? Is she capable of growth? Because there has to be a capability statement. You can't expect things from someone who never had them before. Now, as much as they love you and they want to, that doesn't mean it's going to translate into output. That's just not how that works. You have to kind of know what they came with. And one of the things I talk about a lot is transition, right? You can be aspirational and she can be aspirational, but if you're not willing to abide by her aspirations and be patient throughout, or be disappointed that, look, you met her, she was 34. She had a high school diploma or a GED, and she's talking about opening up a law firm with you. You a lawyer. Do you know how long that's going to take? And I'm not saying she's not genuine in her aspirations or her admiration for you. What I'm saying is you know better. And sometimes we get those rose-colored glasses because we all infatuated. And we start giving people concessions for things that they're not really showing tangible on paper. So to summarize all that with you talking about the level of effort, it's great if you know that they're capable. Don't try to race a paraplegic and get mad because like you knew one of her legs was gone and you like, man, I wanted her to run with me. I was running for her. She couldn't run for me. And that's insensitive at best.
Is it insensitive at best if she's not even pushing the wheel?
But here's the deal. You got to put her in position to at least attempt. Once she's not pushing the wheel, be honest about that. See, a lot of times people get an attitude and get quiet. If you're a person that's strong in who you are, you're constantly communicating who you are and how you are. It's real simple. You bring it to the square and you say, hey, if you're a woman listening to us, I don't know how many people got listening. Do you have can you look at that or whatever? But
yeah, it says 6.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. If you're a woman and you listening and a dude start calling you out your name at any stage of the relationship, I'm not talking about week 1, month 1, year 1, at any stage, the first thing you're going to do is check him. If that's not what you like in your relationships, you can say, hold up. I'll be damned if my daddy don't, you're going to do one of them, and you let a person know where you are in that. Act that way in everything that you care about, and you won't have no problems. Because when you see dudes dog cussing chicks in public, like y'all talk about with the kids, when the kids acting up at the grocery store and at the church and at the mall, they acting like that at home. You know what I'm saying? That's allowed. Yeah. So you have to give an allowance of how you get down and what you're going to abide by at all times. So yes, if you see she's not pushing the wheels, you're like, hey, something wrong with the wheels? You know, you ask a couple, you always start at the beginning and with questions. And then when you realize, oh, this person's not desiring or capable of matching my efforts, you're not equally yoked. It's okay. Move on. Some of us are so special that it would be inconceivable to find more than 2 or 3 people in our lifetime that can match our swag, that can match our style, that can match our gangster. So once you run through 2 of them, you probably got about 1 or 2 left. Like you really do. Why would the good Lord bless you with 6 of these people in your lifetime that's got what you got? So you just got to be more, like you talk about 4 seasons and now you're saying 8 seasons. We'll have to talk about that in the session. But you got to be able to be patient and willing, but you know what you know. And as I've famously stated to one of my clients, you can't make me feel bad about knowing what makes me feel good. Once I know what makes me feel good, I'm riding out with that every time, all the time. And you can't say, I can't believe you don't like spicy. I can't believe you don't like seafood. I can't believe you don't like soul food. I know what I like. You're not going to make me feel bad about that. So that's what I would stand on and abide by.
When it comes to communication, I think Money Mike on Friday is a great communicator.
Okay.
Because he went to her and he said, look, this is what you're doing. This is what I need you to be doing.
That's right.
He wasn't yelling at her or anything.
That's right. So,
we can learn something from Money Mike.
we can. And don't be sorry, be careful.
I didn't say that. I didn't say he was a perfect communication. Because he called her
right, he did. But she allowed it. She didn't stop him and cuss him out. She allowed it.
So we have a question in the chat. Coach.
Okay.
Can you address the 44-ounce and 20-ounce full capacity concept in a relationship you have mentioned before?
Okay, cool. So, and this stems from a conversation I had with my oldest daughter where she was feeling sad about not being able to give me or gift me the things that I was able to give her and gift her. And she was a child, so she was thinking childishly. She wasn't doing great math. Now she's an excellent mathematician, right? But the moral of the story is what I explained to her in layman's terms was, all I need is 100% of what you have if I'm giving you 100% of what I have. Or the Pareto concept of 80-20, whatever percentage I'm giving you, I expect for that level or that percentage of you in order for us to be matching each other's, efforts. So if I'm a 44-ounce cup because of my job, my education, my age, my size, my whatever, and you're a 20-ounce cup because of those same things, all I expect from you is 20 ounces, all that you got. All that you can expect from me is 44 ounces. Now, conventional math would say, but you're more than doubling her output, but I'm not more than doubling her effort or her capacity. And that's the important part. And what you want to calibrate yourself for is, now that doesn't mean make concessions for a bum because you found him on the corner. He had on raggedy clothes. So all he could give you was a conversation and you got a home and kids and a dog and a sports car, and you like, look, all he could ever. Now, if you that person, be honest about it though, but don't later be mad that he's been that person and it's been 3 months now and you done showed him better. You know what I'm saying? You met him there. You met him there, and yes, you could want to hope that he wants more or wants to be better, but I believe my gut and my lion eyes. People say anything. The one thing is, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and actions are worth 1,000 pictures. So you can do the math.
So, is that lesson? It's probably for both people, but I think what people may miss is it's also for the 44-ounce person to not be delusional, not to be expecting 44 ounces from a 20-ounce.
Once again, and that's why the cup size was important for the analogy, but it was the capacity that really brought the analogy home, which is percentage. If you fill it up, it's full. If it's a thimble, if it's full, it's full. So as long as you're giving me whatever the equation or the percentage of your full is, if you're 80% the full, I'm giving you 80% of my full. If you give me 40% of your full, but that's the reciprocity, right? The reciprocity is I'm not giving, I don't want it. Fair exchange means no robber. I don't want to give you more than I feel like I'm receiving, because then I leave the situation begrudging of you because I feel like you cheated me out of my time, my lifespan, my energy, my wisdom, my conference. Like I feel cheated because I feel like I was the one that was the star of that relationship. I was the one that was the better. So if you're in a relationship, figure out what you bring it to the table. Are you the funniest? Are you the most punctual? Are you the cleanest? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you actually doing that's creating balance? Once again, back to your theme, creating balance in that relationship. It's not all, if it's as simple as my check and your check are the same check every 2 Fridays. I've never seen that relationship be successful because I've never seen that relationship. That's now how relationships works. Now we let relationships dissolve because of finances, but no relationship, not even an arranged marriage, is based on her bank and your bank specifically. It could be her parents' dynasty and your parents' dynasty, but it's not y'all two, and y'all have to reach the same amount on the totem pole, and then y'all can go forward and be married and love and all of that. That's not how love works. Love does not have a financial component that's tied to it. But unfortunately, what happens is people who are getting outpaced in ambition and in financing and growth end up feeling resentful when that other person is saying, what have you been doing this whole time I've been growing? What have you to show for these last 3 years when I've been doing this, that, and the third, and now it's time. Now it's time to open it up. Now it's time to get the house and my credit is there. And it's either a joint effort or it's not. And so that's how the ounces go as it relates to, you know, those relationships.
Okay. So can we talk a little bit about the repeating what you hear in the hood? So once you hear some catchy hood phrase, then you start using it. Everybody starts using it. So people start saying, even if it was in rap songs and all that, they want a 6-figure person, right?
Yes. A YN, right? Right.
So saying you want that 6-figure person, but when you find out that the things that you want require more or different. So one of the comments to the 6-figure salary is not.
Who was this comment from? Is it like on there?
Pooh H from corporate headquarters.
Okay, cool.
And it says when the damn math be mathing.
Okay. So that was in response to that was in response to us saying, so what that was a derivative of a conversation we had where we talked about I don't want to call it ignorance, the naivete of saying 6 figures. Okay. Because it's simply put, you express that 6 figures is $100,000 and $999,000. Both of those are 6 figures. But obviously, those are 2 different people, man, woman, or child. If I have $100,000 and you have $999,000, we're making totally different choices.
Mhm.
I mean, it's not night and day, but it's morning and
Close.
evening. It's yeah,
It's morning
the
daylight
sun is in a
savings.
different part of the sky.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So just to summarily say six figures, when he gets to six figures, $100,000, he's done. He's fulfilled. She's done. She's fulfilled it. Anybody that wants a six-figure person, that's it. What happens is you know better, you do better when you know better, according to the Bible. So you get into a six-figure situation, and then you're doing better than the $80,000 people or the $70,000 people, but invariably you run into the $120,000 people, the $200,000 people, the 300, and then you start saying, wait a second, I can't just go like they go. I can't just do like my kids don't have the same whatever, because there's a huge difference in double your salary. You making 100, he making 200. That's a big difference in disposable income and decisions and stock investments and all this other kind of stuff. Money that can be borrowed, lent, loaned, and built upon. The compound interest is different. So when you talk about six figures, just to say, well, six figures, I think that's short-sighted and it's a bit immature. When if I believe in specificity. I believe in you want to be as specific as possible as to what you want. And so the danger in repeating what the hood says or what the internet says or whatever is they're not telling you why. You say, I want a six-figure dude. Why? Because I need somebody to take care of me. And you think six figures to do it. If the answer is yes, then what is it that needs to be taken care of? Because once we start putting a ledger together and we start itemizing all the things that are being taken care of, then my last question is going to be for you, how much do you make now to take care of you? And if you say $37,000, why would triple your salary be what you need? Wants and needs are different. And I know I'm getting into the semantics, but why would that facilitate your needs more and not just your wants? Because to me, if you want something bad enough, you would go get it. And now, the slick part about that is, now I've talked to people in this regard. I'm going to put this on women just for the sake of this conversation. When I say you go get it, I don't mean you go make it. What I mean is you go put yourself in a position to where that's always available to you. So if your game is so good that you can keep getting dudes that make 300, dudes that make 400, dudes that make 2 million, dudes that make 8 million, by all means, have at it. But be mindful that because you put him in the power position where he's facilitating your wants and needs, if anything happens with him, you're back to square one. Because you didn't achieve it, you obtained it. And we have a lot of people that are trying to obtain and not trying to achieve, or they're not successful at achieving. Let's say they are trying and they're just not good at it. The good Lord has showed them this is not for you. It's okay. This is not your life. It's not your lot in life. So that's what I mean by that.
Okay, so the next video was motivation. So why can't I be the man she wants until she gains focus? And I think that video was, we were saying that the man was everything that you wanted until you got that, and then you started wanting more. You moving the goalposts.
Mhm.
And so a comment to that was, shut up, be a man, and do it all. So what do you think? Oh, and let me give credit to Heap of Rocks.
Okay, heap of rocks. Cool. Yes. Yes. As a coach, I would say if that's how you want to live, if that's the hill you want to die on, then shut up, be a man. If you're a woman that's looking for a man that you want to just shut up and take care of all your needs and your wants, that's great. As long as you're willing to exchange the responsibility, the autonomy that comes with someone that's taking care of all of your everything, right? When you've become an emotional invalid and he's changing your mental diapers and he's spoon feeding you and he's this and that, your muscles will atrophy. And when you decide, now I can do it myself, you can't. You can't, and you find yourself in a spiral of despair because you lean too heavily on someone as opposed to using this reprieve to get your weight up. And it happens more for women, for men in relationships where women are taking care of them, where women are doing it as an investment and they helping him get his weight up or whatever, but he's not really working out. He's just going to the gym. You know what I'm saying? He's just going there talking a lot,
Right.
standing around, drinking from the water bottle, and then got the towel, and then he's spending money on the membership, her money on the membership, and he's going there and do it, but his heart rate ain't getting up. If there was any kind of monitor, she'd see he's just there networking. He's not working out. But the goal was for you to get these muscles. And so in the idea of, yes, we've all made investments in people within relationships or businesses or whatever the case may be, and that person didn't pan out. But it was our fault for overextending what we were allowing for them in that loan, in that arrangement. You know, when you got a bad business partner that's always late and that, you know, ain't never got nothing, or it's always, man, my ship about to come in. If this just happens, or if that just happens, then you're going to see a different me. Man, all I know is the UIC. Once again, my gut and my lying eyes tell me exactly who you are. It's worth 1,000, you know what I'm saying, pictures. And so, you know, my thought is, if he's saying shut up and just be a man, if that's the kind of man you want to be, where you want to be domineering, controlling, and do what you want to do, and it's your money, y'all money is your money, and you telling her what to wear and all this and all that, and she's cool with that because you're providing, who am I to say that's not the right way? Who am I to say you shouldn't have sister wives? Who am I to say the way in which people live, the common denominator is peace, tranquility, comfort, and stability? If you can pull that out of any situation, whether that's both of y'all on heroin, both of y'all, you know what I'm saying, in the boardroom, both of y'all doing it, whatever makes y'all have, whatever float they boat, cast off. The problem that we have, though, in this society is when you say, shut up and be a man, that works on certain men and certain women in certain relationships. Don't try to think that that's going to be transferable. It's like a bad college credit. That's not transferable to a good university. Don't think you can get out this relationship with Sheila where she lets you go upside her head and go to the boat with the money and drink it up and smoke and chill and hang out with your buddies and this and that, and you go get into the relationship with Tanya, and all of a sudden she's going to abide by this same bull. That's not how women are built. Women are not monolithic. You got to reconstruct the figures and figure out what's going to work this time. So
would a more mature or more, would you call it more mature or more mentally stable response be women, women want that, but that's not going to happen. With most men don't even know how to check oil or fix cars.
Damn.
Or most men pretty much just know how to get dressed like you like them and pretend that there's someone else until they get you. Oh, and then it's over. Dang. They pretend that there's someone else until they get you and it's over.
So, first of all, I would never diminish a good actor. I would also never cast aspersions on a good fool. But in order for that equation to work, he had to be a good actor, decent at best, and you had to be a good fool, decent at best. Because you let him get to your emotions, so close to your emotions, under a ruse. And now you're upset because you realized 8 months in, 6 months in, whatever, he can't even change light bulbs. You realize he don't know how to do nothing but get dressed. How long does it take for you to be with somebody to realize their tendencies? How many times I'll tell a story, and hold on, you got to let me do this.
No, go
I'll
ahead.
tell a story. I have a best friend. He had a young lady. He's a bed maker. He makes his bed. He gets up. He makes his bed. She comes to spend a night. He gets up before her to go into his office to work. She leaves. Hey, goodbye. See you later. Whatever. Cool. She's never come over to his home and his bed not be made when she spends the night or they spend time in his bedroom. When she leaves, he goes into his room and the bed is unmade. What he does immediately is defend his situation. Makes a phone call and says, hey, I don't know if you noticed this. Beds get made around here, player. So I'm saying all that to say, when you know who you are and how you get down, and somebody shows you that's not how they get down, you have a choice to make.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been cool and let the bed get unmade. But if that thing had to turn into a marriage, he can't complain in year 4 on the anniversary. You never make the bed. You never wash the dishes. You never take the kids to get their shots. You never. Yes, you're right. I never did that. You know what I'm saying? I have been consistent this entire time. Now you're mad because I am who I've always been. That's a big problem. And a lot of counseling I've done for marriages and things like that is, okay, so when he changed, what happened? Well, he's always been like this. Then what are we talking about? So that's what I'll say to that.
That's a good point. So I'll briefly explain 8 seasons to you. And
Okay, cool.
It only deals with the 4 seasons.
Okay.
Plus consistency.
Okay. That's decent math.
Yeah, because you can put on for that first Christmas, but if it consistently happens, if he consistently comes from upstairs with no shirt on, that's what it is.
I'll say this. I'll say this in a vulnerable moment. I, by the grace of God, don't get ill that often. And when I say that often, we're talking about every 5 years, maybe 7 years, I might catch a cold or something like that. And so I remember married, I got sick. And she said, oh, you can never do this again. Because when I get sick, I'll be sick for real. Like I can brush it off, walk it off, put some dirt on it. And that's what I've done for so long. But when I'm sick, I'm sick. And it took a level of nurturing, hyper nurturing to really be around me sick. And she hadn't seen that. And so that was a moment where she was like, oh, yeah, we got to make sure we keep you healthy because I don't want to sick you. That sickness and health, man, y'all got me. Y'all got me in the contract. So
I feel like that's honoring the contract.
Right.
Feeding vitamin C is honoring the contract.
Absolutely.
So going to the chat real quick.
Okay, cool.
That was a great analogy, going to the gym but not working out.
Yeah.
Coming from Jazzy.
Okay.
And then that woman sounds jaded and or delulu. Wow. So I think that was on the pretend you're somebody else until you eventually get them and then you switch up to the person you really are.
I have a lot of sympathy for somebody that's been got once. I have a lot of sympathy for somebody that grew up in a small town. They was naive. A dude came and sold them a dream, sold them a story, and they found themselves kind of in a whirlwind of infatuation, and they made some compromising choices, and then they realized, damn, this was fool's gold. Pyrite is what they call it scientifically. I do not have the same level of sympathy for this is the 3rd time you've met this same kind of dude. I do not have the same level of sensitivity when your last 6 dudes really is the same dude that's from different places with a different name and different ages, but characteristically, he's the same. Like, are we talking about Aaron? No, we're talking about Tad. But you said Aaron was the one that wanted to do this and was starting his own business and this and that. And what you start realizing is there's a pattern of what you fall for that doesn't mean you any good. And so you're self-sabotaging. That has to be worked out solo. Your ability to understand how to construct or architect your own happiness has to be worked out independently with just you. You can't, that's not a zone defense. You can't partner that. You got to figure that out for you, by you. Then you bring somebody else in and you could tell them the story afterwards. They'd be like, whew, I used to be a mess because I used to attract dudes that was Madden All-Stars. You know what I'm saying? I used to attract dudes that always wanted to go hoop or golf or whatever. And it happened to be the times where I needed them to help me move or whatever the case may be. But when you say there's not a woman out there that says all of my last 5 boyfriends were the most considerate, thought-provoking, professional. That doesn't make sense. You can see where I'm going with this. Yeah. He was so great. All of them was so great. Every now and then there's a hiccup. Every now and then it's just not meant to be. It's not the path that God had for you. I'm cool with that. But when you have a series of dudes that you have been with, there's a common thread between those dudes. They ever had a reunion show, they would all become best friends, right?
Yeah, same dude.
So that's what it is.
I would say, comment. Kendra
Mhm.
agrees wholeheartedly with 8 seasons. Just want you to know.
Well, here's the situation though with the 8 seasons. I have got some feedback, and I do understand that you have an impression in your mind that as you get older, you have less seasons that may be available to you. You have an impression in your mind that I don't got time for that. You remember that? I ain't got time for that. Some things you have to make time for, and some things that's for you are for you. I have a client. Absolutely. I have a client that inappropriately depicts her age as she's getting long in the tooth, and she don't know if she's meant to be married, and she don't know if she's meant to do this and meant to do that. And when she divulges her age to me, I start mentioning people that she knows that didn't get married or start having kids till 4 or 5 years after that. Like, what are we? You're creating a threshold that need not be created. You're putting yourself in a situation where you don't have to live like this. This is not the reality that you signed up for. So that's part of the problem, is that sometimes we put ourselves in these precarious situations that aren't factual. They're impressions. And this is why you need an accountability buddy. This is why you need a sister or somebody that you could bounce this off of and say, girl, am I crazy? Man, am I tripping? We have those conversations. We had those come to Jesus kind of, hey, am I tripping? Man, was I? I'm gonna run this by you. I might have been bogus. That's how dudes be. I might have been bogus, but let me just check it with you. And if you got a real dude, he can be like, yeah, you know you was bogus.
So I don't know how much time you have, but I got some more follow-ups here.
Mm-hmm.
So when people change as they age, because we just talked about getting older and feeling you have less seasons, more seasons, can't afford to. So let's say the age, the mood, the location, the religion, spending habits. Is that a red flag if they're changing?
Too fast, yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think at any you get, when you change so quickly, you get growing pains. And so you have to condition yourself for change at any rate. But rapid change means that you're running from something. It means that something is gone wrong. There's a trauma that has occurred that is allowing you to, because change is not a natural component of life. It happens all the time, but it's not something we embrace or run through because we love stability. We love comfort. We love serenity. We love familiarity, right? We love to feel like this is our place. This is what we know. That's our gym. That's our restaurant. That's my drink. You know, that's my song, right? We love my things. So to honestly want to be involved in change all the time means that you're searching for some type of calibration or some type of anchor that you have yet to find. So yes, if you get with somebody, unless they have a roadmap and a plan, meaning that a destination is in mind, but you do have those certain people that they're adrenaline junkies. They change for the sake of change. And if they're honest about it, you can deal with it if you vibrate on that frequency. If not, you told me you wanted to get your degree, you want to move to New York, you want to buy a brownstone, you want to da-da-da-da-da. Now we here and you ain't happy. And you like, well, now that I've done it, I realize I want to go climb Mount Everest and I want to do, now you all over the place. I'm not saying don't be all over the place and follow your spirit. What I am saying is when you're involving someone else, be mindful of the fact that if they're not up with you in the conception phase, at the beginning of the journey, you write down, this is the destination. And they say, yep, I can see us getting there. And just know, based on my track record, that might not be it for me. Based on my mom always would say, and I've said this before, when you date a woman, ask her how long she had her longest friend. If she falls out with if she falls out with women, with girlfriends constantly, it's hard for her to understand and embrace the level of commitment that a relationship would take. Because you could just go home when your girlfriend get on your nerves. It's just like being cyberbullied. Shut the laptop. Block them. What we talking about? What are we talking about? I'm not diminishing that, but I'm just saying, like, there's an answer to that for sure. Some people do, and I'm sorry I'm going to say this in this forum, love the drama. They're drawn to the drama. And they also love to complain about the drama, which is oxymoronic, but I guarantee you, when I said that, you knew somebody jumped in your head. Somebody jumped in your head.
So you saying change too fast, bad.
Yep.
And changing too fast is like changing friends or drastic changing of goals. Because what if you just change your cologne?
I agree. So
cool water no more.
Let me clarify. Changing too fast without a strategy is bad. Changing for the sake of change. If you do something with a destination in mind, or you do something with a result in mind, and you can articulate that result to somebody who gives a damn, or there be whomever, then that's fine. If you by yourself, and when you eat, you feed the whole family, and you change daily, you change I'd have known chicks that changed outfits 4 times in a day. No musty action. Like they never sweat. They just wanted, it was like the award ceremony. They want to see themselves in something else that day. As long as you make time for it and don't make excuses about it. The problem is when you do that and you're late, or when you do that, we've all had a situation where, hey, we're supposed to be somewhere at this time. And then you show up and she like, I'm still getting ready. This wasn't a surprised event. What had happened? I changed my mind. I was going to do this and I changed my mind. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why did you let it get to this point before you felt it was comfortable to infringe upon our schedule by changing your mind? But she's showing you who she is. Believe that and adjust accordingly. Like people going to show you who they are, even if they in violation. Sometimes give them a demerit and move on, because they're going to, but you got to say, hey, listen, if you do this again, if I come home and this bed is not made again, then there's nothing more I could do for you. If she's a non-bed maker, I'm sorry. She's gonna fire herself. You don't have to fire people, they fire themselves.
Yeah, or it could be a good reason for not making the bed. Hey, I'm trying to help people.
Can anybody on the chat give me a good reason for not making the bed when somebody's told you that's one of the stipulations of sleeping in that bed?
So while they're doing that, I'll tell you that Daniel and Jazzy both said, well, Daniel said he loved his peace, and Jazzy
shout out Daniel.
I agree with Daniel. Protecting my peace is key. And Daniel said you'll get left. If I don't see anything yet, but while you're coaching, can you coach us? Yeah. If we catch ourselves slipping,
yeah,
how do we check ourselves?
Got you. Well, when you're not being right, you're gonna get left. Bars. The situation is, as we mature, it used to be a thing where when I was young, people was just getting senile, right? And this is part of the mental health conversation now that we have, as a country, we've grown to embrace this more, but it's just too many qualifications and people diagnose themselves. Oh, girl, it was a woman, Amanda Seals. She diagnosed herself and rolled out with it until somebody said, who gave you that diagnosis? And she's like, oh, me and ChatGPT. No, you can't do that. That's irresponsible at best, right? The situation is this. When you get to a certain age and you feel like you're changing and it's a relative experience of you maturing, I do believe that's okay. The problem is you have to then be willing to listen to people that say, no, that's you not acting like yourself. Now you have a right to change, but you also, it's just like this free speech thing now, right? We do have a right to free speech, understanding there's repercussions to those freedoms. You can say what you want, but it's going to be hell to pay somewhere, somehow. So you do have a right to, I'm in a married relationship and I have an absolute right to change. And she has an absolute right to change my address. right? It's gonna be a lot of changes going on.
So, but to keep your address, do you need permission to change?
What I think when we talked about this, you need a plan, you need a strategy. You need to say, you know what? I realized either by divine intervention or by necessity or by the bank or by these kids or by my back cracking up, you know what I'm saying? I can't go hoop no more. I got to change my routine. I have to make this thing different in order to sustain this thing that I find more value in. Those type of changes are levels of maturity, but those are incremental changes, not holistic changes. If in the last 6 months, you done lost all your friends, you done lost your job, you done lost your car, like you're losing so many things and you're telling yourself, oh, forget them. They just ain't on what I'm on. They just don't understand me. You need to really go seek out somebody who doesn't have skin in the game and have a conversation with them. You need to seek out a coach or a therapist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist and say, hey, this is how I'm seeing it. And I think I'm cool, but you tell me outside looking in, cold eye view, does this make sense? Is this rational? Because when you get that person that doesn't really know and you give them just the facts, they can see through the emotion of it and all that. But something's wrong when everybody's abandoning you. Something's wrong when everything you work for doesn't matter anymore. You had this game going for 30 years, 20 years, 15 years. And then all of a sudden you come to me and be like, man, this corporate thing just ain't for me. We need to sit down and have a talk. Because I don't understand why you've been wrong for 25 years. And you had an epiphany that this is not for you. You are this, bruh. What are we talking about? You done came this far. You are this. So what has changed from a corporate perspective or what has changed from a you perspective to where you no longer align with this? Those conversations need to be had because people do go crazy. And I know we're not supposed to say crazy anymore, but people do get fed up and go crazy. Yes, it's in books and stuff. Trust me. But because it's casting a wide net.
Words, man.
It's casting a wide net. And so it can mean so many different things. You know what I'm saying?
You can't say killed and murdered no more.
Yeah, you can't. Nope. You got to say unalive. Unalive, absolutely. So, but when you start finding yourself where it's always friction, it's always tension in your heart, realize, are you doing anything to alleviate that? How did you create that? When did you first recognize that? And then try to undo it if that's what you want to do. Some people find comfort in chaos. They do. They just, golly, that is hard for me to empathize with and explain, but they find comfort in chaos. They find comfort in sorrow. They find solace in being pitied. Like, people that's just like, woe is me people. And it's just like, dang, that's not when I say attractive, I don't mean physically. That doesn't attract other human beings. That's a repellent. Now, misery loves company, but think about it. If you miserable and you spreading that, the people that are going to be in your circle are also miserable. Now y'all creating a community of misery. Who grew up wanting that? Who grew up wanting to say, I want to complain. I want a whole bunch of dudes complaining with me. I want a whole bunch of women complaining with me because that's the only way to complain is in numbers. Like it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Well, let's check out the chat real quick.
Okay, go ahead. You got it.
Jazzy said no. Make the bed. Period. And then Sydney.
Okay, go ahead.
Sydney
it's hard to break. It's hard to break old habits. It just is. You got to be purposeful.
But so Sydney said she didn't want to take the joy. He likes making the bed, so she left it that way so he can make it.
And once again, that first time, I absolutely agree with it. It was when he made that call and said, hey, two things. We say bottoms over here and we make beds over here, right? So once you've been told, let me say this. Stephen A. Smith has something that he says that's very, very, very poignant. And it's about racism or offending people. It's the concept of, if they offend you out of ignorance, you have to take that L. You have to understand not everybody knows what's offensive to you. Not everybody knows not to say the old lady joke or the homosexual joke or the whatever. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. But once you tell them, now they know. You do better when you know better. But you got to give them that grace and that mulligan on the first one because they were just ignorant. She was ignorant. Then when you educated her that, hey, one of the rules, one of the things we do over here is make beds. Now she's in violation. She's deliberately disobeying you, right? She's blatantly saying, now keep in mind, what I never said in the story was you over her house making beds against the rules? was you jumping up and was like, hold on, before you leave, I know I've never seen a bed made over at this month, but I'm going to be the one that does that here. That's also not appropriate. You got to accept people where they are, but then you have to realize when they say that's where they are, can you live with that? If I can put up this for the next 2 months, 2 years, and 20 years, let's go. If I know this is going to get on my nerves after 2, 10, 20, whatever the interval is, somebody got some decisions to make. That's how I look at it.
Okay, so
she said, "What if he just wanted to make it?" He would have been like, "Yes."
Yeah, she said,
"Yes." The bed was unmade. He was like, "Yes."
Come make it.
Yes. I left you a present in there.
So, should I clear up something real quick?
You can if you like. You produce this.
So the answer to the question is yes. So when he was at her house, he made the bed and it was very much appreciated.
Oh, okay.
So, okay. And he wasn't so strict that every time you get out of the bed, it must be made. Because sometimes you could be in a hurry, you're in a rush, you got to go to work, you got to do this. But if you're working from home the whole day, like, what are you doing? Was the thought.
I'll say this to anybody that's in situations or going to encounter a situation like this. Once you start giving an inch, be willing to give a mile and be willing to give the world. Because if you let somebody kick you 5 times, they're going to kick you. That's the nature of people. People are going to do what they're allowed to get away with. And then you are wrong when you're being so petty to, I was able to do it 6 times, but now the 7th time, I'll give a story. When we were growing up, my mom had a friend. She had kids. They was a little younger than us. She would tell her, my mom would say, go to bed. My mom meant my mom spoke English. We heard and understood English. She said, go to bed. That meant go to bed. That wasn't a suggestion. It wasn't up for debate. It was no problems. We took ourselves to bed. On the other hand, we seen a situation where she would say, go to bed. That didn't mean a damn thing. Go to bed. Y'all go to bed. Didn't I tell y'all to go to bed? And it would be like, and me and my brother would think, this is amazing that they're disregarding what she's saying openly in front of people, right? And so with that being said, it'd be like the 15th time, sometimes the 13th time. Like, it happened a lot. But you never knew, but you were always entertained, especially as a child, by the snap moment. When she come in swinging the bell, didn't I say? I done told y'all. It's like, how were they to know 13 was the time this day? 18 was the time. It was a Russian roulette of my instructions. If she had just said if you say what you mean and mean what you say, the first time, every time, there's a level of consistency and trust that's developed in any communication, in any relationship. I know where you come from. I know where you stand because you said it, you meant it, and I believed it. But if you are able to waffle and sometimes it's this, and it's always, when it's always a concession, when it's always, well, you know how my hormones be, you know how my sciatica be, when it's always, when they can't never make it through the game because it's always something else going on, they're not gamers. So do you want to be with a gamer? Because if you don't, stop complaining that you want a gamer. Real simple.
I could bring that story to a close. Like, you can really learn someone if they say they appreciate, if she appreciated the way the guy made the bed and agreed that was having a nice and tidy space was the best. But to get out of making the bed, you buy a Murphy bed then you see the type of person you're dealing with, because
A
it's
creative
still,
genius. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
you're still trying to cheat the system.
I'll say this. I do understand that free will is the greatest gift that God gave us all. But I also understand that if I want free will, I have to be considerate in a union with my children in a home where I have other people that depend on my consideration. So when I make that change to now, um, like to leave the bathroom door open, right? Like, or like to stand in the refrigerator and let all the cold air out, or whatever change I make, I owe those people my rationale behind doing it. Where you go wrong is when you've decided you're going to make a change. You know you're making a change and you feel like you don't owe nobody nothing. When you feel like the people that are being affected by your change don't require an explanation. You can just do whatever you want to do because you want to do it. You no longer want to be on a team.
Okay, so it sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
So you ask the person, or you're asking me, why am I changing too fast or too drastically? What happened?
Yes.
And my answer to you is social media. What's your response?
Oh, I have a decision to make. Because here's the situation. When you let external factors control us internally here, that's a wild card. Ain't nothing I can do with that. Do you know how fast social media changes? Do you know how they turn on people and the trends are something this and the trends are... Social media is an algorithm that's constantly evolving, changing, and destroying things. It's creating, it's matter. It's creating and destroying. So when you're allowing external things to create internal friction, internal conflict, internal joy, when you are taking dominion over your own choices, actions, and repercussions, and you're bold enough to tell me in my face that something as ambiguous as social media, not Instagram, not TikTok, not YouTube, not Coach's Decision with Chris P. Reed, not you just you said social media. That's like saying outside. Where are you about to go? Outside. What the you know how much outside it is on this earth?
People say that now, though.
They do. People are silly. But it's irresponsible to be that way when you have others that depend on you, or more importantly, you depend on others. And we can act like there's few people that are truly independent, that don't need the grocer at the grocery store, that don't need the Uber driver, that don't need... I'm talking about independent. I'm talking about true independent. I'm talking about living in the woods, off the land, and they're independent. They eat what they kill and kill what they eat.
Are they?
What are they depending on? Except the good Lord.
That's what they're depending on.
That's it. That's all.
That's not independent.
I think they have the best case going. Let's just put it like that. They have the best case going.
There's no sun, no rain for their food to grow.
Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
You ain't lying. Did anybody in the Bible change?
Yeah, a lot of people changed. Yeah,
Saul,
absolutely.
He had to change his name to Paul.
He did, absolutely.
So he changed. He had to change his whole name, his whole identity,
with a strategy. Yes, with a strategy, and he was willing to explain it.
Okay.
I'm not that dude anymore. The good Lord told me I got to put an S on that or a P on that. Like, you know, I spell my thing different now. Once again, I'm not saying don't change. I'm saying have a rationale and be willing to explain it. What happens a lot is people change and be like, I'm not explaining nothing to you. I don't care. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say. Okay, well then you got to understand the repercussions of that lack of care, that lack of concern is showing up. That's what's going to happen.
I'll say that Jazzy said, keep that woe is me away from me bar.
Well, let me say this. I feel like life goes through ups and downs, and there's woes that exist. There is no testimony without a test, and the test comes with woes. Let's be fair. Let's be honest. Let's be compassionate. Let's be graceful. It's the consistency or the repetitive woes. It's when you know, oh, this, when you look at your phone and be like, oh,
Right.
this is not a giving call. This is a receiving call. This is an asking call. This is not a joyful call. This is more than likely, if we had to really put money on it, big bank, take little bank. When I answer this, is this person going to be saying something joyous, you know what I'm saying, and jubilant?
Right.
Or is this person going to be like, you won't believe what happened today? You know those people in your phone. You know them.
Yeah.
And so that stench is hard to wash off. What I'm saying is, if you know that that's not where you are in your life and you can't absorb that, because what people don't realize is when you work at the fish place, you ultimately smell like fish even when you ain't at work. You know what I'm saying? It stays on you. That stench, that residue, it stays on you. Emotionally, when you're around people that just can't get right and just always got an excuse, it's on you too. It's hard to wash that off. This is why successful people gravitate towards each other. Happiness is gravitational. This is why, as I stated before, when you find that person, you're lonely as hell, and you find your person and you're in a relationship, every person is trying to holler at you now.
Yeah.
They see it on you. It's an aura.
Yeah,
it's gravitation. Man,
it's that victory pig. It can't
man. So you are what you eat and you are what you attract. And when you keep saying I keep attracting these, man, you are what you attract. Some people and some people just give it off. I'll say this to the fellas, if it's guys on here or if it's guys that listen to this. You know one when you see one, as far as a dude. And if you a real one, people don't treat you like you not. They just don't. They don't have to. You could be short, tall, skinny, fat. If you a real one, for whatever reason, they don't. Now, for women, dudes is stupider, so they'll try. You're going to get an Angry Bird situation every now and then where they're going to try to holler at you and you're going to have to apologize because my bad. I gave you the impression.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when you, like, it's certain auras that you bring into the room, certain commands that you bring into the room. It's the same thing you bring into your love life, same thing you bring into your job. Like, you could just look at somebody and be like, that's what, it's like pickup. You could look and be like, I don't care how tall buddy is. He's tall guy, not big man. You know what I'm saying? And I need big man on my team. It be dudes your height, Lee height, that's big man. You know what I'm saying? You can see, oh, dude, a stay ready all-star. He about that action. And then you can see dudes that should have all of the characteristics, the physicality, the money, the curly hair, or whatever, and you could just see something in him. You can see they one chromosome away. You know what I'm saying?
What did you have in closing? Because I can't get one chromosome.
Okay. So
one person. Go ahead.
You know, the one thing I definitely want to say is, you wanted to make a point, and I made a point to listen to the comments that came in on the page. Please continue to apply comments. And if we can give you some game, if I can give you some game or some coaching, one of the most popular episodes that we've done from a numerical perspective, from the numbers, is somebody wrote in and asked that they said that they weren't getting promoted at their job, and they had been there and just couldn't get over the hump, and they wanted some coaching on how to approach that. So we got on and we talked about our corporate experience and talked about ways to position yourself for promotions, and the people picked it up and loved it. I mean, they love it. It's been thousands and thousands of views on that because of a question that one of you asked. So if those are things that you think about and you're really receptive to having these answers being provided, put them in the comments. We'll look at them. And if we have time, we'll come back and do this same thing. And, you know, maybe we might come on here once a month and come on live so you can respond in real time if you so desire. But, you know, if it's a situation where you want us to speak about something, put it out there. We'll put something on wax, send it out, and your answers will be had in that regard. But because that's where we are with it. So appreciate this time. Appreciate it being produced. I know we hadn't been doing lives, but we have been putting out episodes every Wednesday at 9, and they've been very good episodes. I would recommend you go check them out. Give your feedback, give your comments, questions, concerns, and, you know, just keep tuning in. Every Wednesday at lunch, I put out a weekly thought, and it's just something to kind of keep you going throughout the week and kind of fill your spirit. It's just food for thought. Every Wednesday at 11 Central, I'm putting that out. So go ahead and check that out. It's an AI version. Pretty cool to me, but I'm old, so what do I know? And we'll leave it at that. So if you guys want to do another live, we'll take their comments and cobble those together. And if enough come in, we'll do another one. But until then, you know, this has been Coach's Decision with Chris P. Reed. Bring your baggage and drop it off for us to sort through. And until next time, take it easy or take it any way that you can get it.